Give me 1 minute. Hello, Mrs. Davis. Could you give me 1 minute? We're just getting prepared to go live on YouTube, and then we'll get started.
Yes, absolutely.
All right, we're on. Okay. Well, Mrs. Davis, my
I
name.
don't see you though.
You don't see me? Okay.
No.
Okay. Well, I'm here. I can assure you of that. Mrs. Davis, my name is Kevin Hayes. I'm the solicitor for the Borough of Clark Summit, and we have all of our 6 council members on Zoom, along with our mayor, Herman Johnson, and our borough manager, Virginia Kehoe. We are about to begin the interviews to fill the vacancy that was left by the resignation of Councilman Patrick Williams.
Yes.
Tonight's interviews are being conducted in compliance with the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act and with Senate Bill 841.
Would you mind holding for 1 moment, please?
Sure.
I just need to check something on my computer.
You let us know when you're ready.
All right, thank you.
Kevin,
Yes?
we can't see it on ECTV on YouTube.
Okay, well, it's on.
Oh, okay.
I do not see you still.
Okay.
We can hear you though, and if it needs to be conducted in that manner, it still complies with all of the regulatory aspects.
And it is on there now, Kevin. I did find it.
Okay. Okay, Mrs. Davis, are you prepared to proceed?
Yes, I am.
Well, let me begin by, on behalf of Borough Council, we want to thank you for your interest in serving the borough and submitting your application. We truly appreciate your interest, especially in this unusual time that we all find ourselves. I'm going to, just to let you know, we have 10 minutes for each candidate, so you can try to allocate your time as you see appropriate. But there's 4 questions that I'm going to run through with you and ask you to answer them.
Okay.
The first question, Mrs. Davis, is for the benefit of the members of council and the mayor. Could you explain why it is that you would like to serve on Clark Summit Borough Council?
Sure. I consider myself a strong community member. I believe in connection with communities, and I've lived in the borough for 21 years, and I've raised 2 young daughters who are now grown up, and I've been a very active member. When they were growing up, I was part of the soccer moms. I went to field hockey games, did a lot in the community, and now I'm very active with the Gathering Place. I'm very active with Countryside Conservancy. I just feel like I want to be a part of the community and make things work well. I love my community. I love Clark Summit, and I want to make a contribution in a way that I've made contributions all my life. And it's just a new opportunity for me to make a significant contribution to the Borough Council.
Great. Mrs. Davis, what leadership skills or experience do you have that would be valuable to our council and would assist you in fulfilling your duties as a member of council?
Well, I'm currently on our Temple Board of Directors, Temple Hesed. I'm the assistant secretary, so I've led meetings when need be, when our president was not there. I take minutes, I report to the president, the 2 co-presidents. I'm on the executive board, and we make important decisions, especially now with hiring and with budgets. So I've worked closely with the members of the community, of our Temple community.
Great. Thank you for that. And Mrs. Davis, what do you believe is the greatest challenging facing the borough at this time?
I feel that we need to maintain and strengthen our borough community identity. We tend to be a town that has a lot of good people, a lot of active people who take part in the town, but we need to have more people get involved. We need to have a stronger identity. And I'm not saying that we don't have a good, strong, positive identity right now, but I think it would be good to increase that with the gathering place. Let's get the gathering place really strong and up and running really, really strong. I think they've done an excellent job in the past 3-4 months since this COVID-19 came along. They've really offer a lot of different programs. I want to keep that kind of thing going. And I know the JCC in Scranton has done a tremendous job with online programs and offering all kinds of things for people who are not able to go places and be with other people. So that's one of my questions that I have for you, and I can save it towards the end if you'd like.
Okay, why don't we do that and make sure that we cover all of council's questions. Lastly, Mrs. Davis, what do you hope to accomplish in your 1.5-year term on council?
I want to be an important member of the council. I want to make things happen. I want to be part of the team. And I consider myself a very strong team player. I know the importance of a good working relationship with a board. I know how to make things happen, as I said before. I'm having trouble with my screen here. I'm sorry.
We could see you fine and hear you well and hear you clearly too as well.
You can. Okay.
Yes. And I thought, Mrs. Davis, did you have did you need a point of clarification or a question for?
No, it wasn't clarification. It was just a question, and you can carry on with your questions.
Well, that's all that I have right now.
Okay.
I don't know if any member of council needs any points of clarification based on your responses, but if not, that would be the conclusion of our interview. Is there anyone on council that needs any further clarification on the responses offered this afternoon by Mrs. Davis?
Hi, Kevin. This is Vince. I have a question for every person applying tonight. Hi, Mrs. Davis. Thank you for your application.
Sure.
My question is, what do you think is the biggest financial priority in terms of addressing more on like a fiscal element when you come to council with the budget? If you were appointed to council, what financially within the budget where we spend more or cut more is where you think matters could be addressed, rather than, I know you mentioned the community outreach. I'm thinking more on the dollars and cents side.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think we need to maintain a strong police force. And I think that is something that we really need to direct our funds towards and make sure that we maintain it and educate and get people to support the police. I think that's key. In a town like ours, where a small town, we have to develop good ties with the police and maintain them and strengthen them as well.
Thank you.
Any other members of council? All right, well, Mrs. Davis, thank you so much for your interest in serving council as a member of council. We really appreciate your interest and your time here today, and you can continue to watch the proceedings on YouTube.
Yes, I will.
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Care. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, at this time, we'll have Josh Mitchell. Is everyone ready to proceed? Okay.
Yes.
Yes.
Is Joan still connected?
No, I just disconnected.
Okay, I'm still just seeing her icon on here.
Josh should be coming in.
Hi, good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Good evening. Good evening, Mr. Mitchell. My name is Kevin Hayes. I serve as the solicitor to the borough, and with us here tonight are the 6 members of council, along with our mayor Herman Johnson and borough manager Virginia Kehoe. Tonight's interview is being conducted in compliance with all the Sunshine Act and is being recorded and broadcast on YouTube. First of all, on behalf of council, we want to thank you for your interest in applying. We are really very pleased with the number of qualified applicants that we received, and it's very encouraging, especially during these unusual times that we're finding ourselves. As you know, there's a total of 10 minutes that we have allocated for your interview. So if you, with that in mind, try to conserve your time as best you can. Mr. Mitchell, can you hear me okay?
I can, yep, and everybody can hear me okay?
Yep, yes, we can. The first question the council would like to know is, why do you want to serve on Clarkson Borough Council?
Yeah, absolutely. I think, I've lived in this community for 11 years now. We've been in Northeast Pennsylvania for 15 years and 11 in Clark Summit. And I've never worked actually for a local company. I've worked from home the entire time that I've resided here. I work now for a company in Baltimore. And so I've gotten involved in various things in the community over the years, just to be part of the community, to be able to get to know people and to be able to give back a little bit. I think especially as I've had children, I have 4, and as they've gotten older, I've gotten more involved in a lot of their kinds of activities. So that's tended to take me to things like youth sports, Cub Scouts, things like that. And as I've gotten my feet wet in some of those kinds of things, I wanted to kind of diversify a little bit what I was involved with in the community. And so I've been with the AAJRB. I'm one of the Clark Summit appointees to that for the last couple of years. And so I think this is just a kind of logical next step for me. I really just enjoy getting involved, giving back. This is a really terrific, well-run community. The organizations I've gotten involved in over the years I've specifically wanted to join because I felt like they were well-run and I could learn a lot, and then I could try to keep that going. So that's, I think in a nutshell, why I'm here and why I'm interested.
Great, thank you. Mr. Mitchell, what leadership skills or experience do you have that would be valuable to our council and would assist you in fulfilling your duties as a member of council?
I think I have a real breadth of experience doing different kinds of things and leadership in different ways. So, professionally, I have a team that I manage. I'm a leader in the company. I'm kind of the point person on different kinds of things that we do, negotiating contracts, procurement kinds of things, those types of things that I'm involved in day to day. And in the community, the things that I'm involved in, I guess maybe it's because I have a hard time saying no. I guess I'm not quite sure. But I have taken a real leadership role in the various organizations I'm involved in. I didn't necessarily get involved to do that, but it's just what's happened. So I've been the president of Abington Youth Soccer for 4 years. That is something that I enjoy. It's actually a pretty complex organization for one that is soccer at the end of the day. Likewise, I'm the Cub Master of Cub Scout Pack 160, and there again, that's a role that I'm kind of the public-facing leader of that organization as well. So I think those different capacities that I've been involved in, I mentioned the AAJRB, just give me a breadth of experience working with a lot of different kinds of people, working on a lot of different kinds of things, certainly being familiar with budgeting and looking at those kinds of things. So I think it's that breadth of experience and willingness to learn. I certainly don't enter anything feeling like I know much of anything, to be honest with you. I come wanting to learn and to jump in with both feet and see where that leads, just looking for opportunities to contribute.
Great, thank you. Mr. Mitchell, what do you believe is the greatest challenge that is now facing the borough?
That's a great question. And I guess it's one, I think the answer now, honestly, is probably a lot different than it would have been a couple of months ago. I have to think that we're only at the very beginning of what the fallout, if you want to call it that, is from the COVID situation. I think that's going to have ramifications for this borough, for every municipality, for counties, the state, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know these figures intimately well, but even if the economic impact in our community is much less than it is in others, it's still an impact. I know I actually watched the recording of last month's meeting, and I know there was some discussion of, people looking for assistance with sewer billing and things like that. I think those kinds of issues are not necessarily going to go away as soon as we hit the green phase in this county. I have to think that in the next year and more, there is going to be fallout from those things. So that's why I say I think my answer is probably a lot different today than it would have been a couple of months ago. I do think as well, putting COVID aside, it's a real struggle. I mentioned before that I've gotten involved in different organizations, and I didn't necessarily do so with an aim toward leading those organizations. But it's really difficult to get people to get involved and to get people to volunteer and to take on. People are busy, and so it's hard. It's hard to get people, especially young people with families, I think, to get involved. I think that's a problem in every community, certainly in ours. And I experience it in the organizations I'm involved in. Now, maybe the fact that you have 8 applicants for this position speaks otherwise, but I do think that that's kind of a trend in general is real civic engagement and a feeling of civic duty is a little bit hard to come by sometimes.
Great. Mr. Mitchell, what do you hope to accomplish in your 1.5 year term on Borough Council?
I certainly am not thinking that I'm going to come in and do anything in particular. I think I want to learn. I want to learn how the borough operates from the inside and look for opportunities where I can contribute. I think I don't come in with any agenda. I don't come in with something that I'm going to sit down the first day and assume I know everything and say we need to do this. I just want to learn, and I think that's what I've done in other organizations that I've gotten involved in. Is I kind of take my time and I see how things work, and then I look for opportunities to say, okay, this is something I've seen us talking about. I have an idea. Why don't I do this? And I think that's important to emphasize is, I've been in plenty of boards and organizations where there are people around the table that have ideas but they don't necessarily step up and say, I'll do that. And that is something that, again, maybe I have a hard time saying no, but if I come and I say, I have an idea, let's do this, it's going to be with the idea that I will contribute to that. So I really just want to learn and look for opportunities to contribute. That's kind of where I sit.
Thank you for that. I believe that at least I know Councilman Cruciani has a question for you. Councilman?
Yes, thanks, Kevin. Mr. Mitchell, thanks for applying for the vacancy. You did address part of my question is what the biggest fiscal issue would be, and that was in relation to COVID. So I guess maybe if you could elaborate on that, or if you think there's any one issue particular to the financial situation of the borough that you would like to try to address in the next year and a half, or that you feel needs to be addressed. I'd love to hear it.
I think it's a great question. I don't know that I can really intelligently answer it, just because I won't pretend to be intimately familiar with the budget of the borough. I've certainly acclimated myself in the last week or so with some of the meeting minutes and some of the meetings that have been recorded and whatnot, but I don't think I can pretend to be able to answer that really well. I will say, and you touched on it, I think contingency planning is something that municipalities and organizations probably need to do. They need to anticipate realizing fewer revenues than they expected because for various reasons. So I would think that's going to pose some challenges for everybody. Hopefully, less so in this community than in others, but I just would be surprised if we were immune to that impact.
Great.
Kevin, I also have a question, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Mr. Mitchell, what is your best contribution for council should you be appointed to this position?
I think it's sort of, I've alluded to this a few times. I don't think I necessarily say this is in particular what I'm going to come and do. I think I want to look for opportunities to be able to see where there's a need and then step into that need. But I think one of the biggest things I can sit here and offer is, and again, this is an elected position. I know this is, essentially 18 months and then it's up for election. But when I get involved in things, I do it 100%. I jump in with both feet. I don't intend to, do anything unless I'm going to do it right. And so I think what I would say is something I bring to the table is potentially, God willing, being able to contribute for a long time. I am a younger person and have a family that is rooted here, and so I could see the potential to be involved for many years, and I think that again is a good thing for a borough like ours.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other members of council before we let Mr. Mitchell go? Okay, well, again, Josh, we appreciate your interest in applying, and you can continue to watch tonight's proceedings on YouTube.
Very good. Thank you all. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, the next applicant to be interviewed was scheduled to be Ronnie Lopez, and I did confirm with her earlier today, but I don't see her on the line at this time. We do have Wanda Brown, who is scheduled to start at 6:05. Is it okay if we take her out of order, just
Yes.
so we keep things moving?
Yeah, keep it moving.
Sure.
Okay. She's joining as we speak. Hello, Miss Brown. Oh, she's in. Okay. Hello, Miss Brown. Wanda.
Lost her.
Okay. Put her back in the waiting room. Let's see if we can get that figured out. Let's try Ronnie Lopez. Okay, here we go. Hello. Hello, is it Ms. Brown or Ms. Lopez? I'm gonna, your audio is not on right now. Let me try to get you squared away here.
There you go.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear
Oh,
me?
good. If you could speak up a little bit more, it's a little soft.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Yes, I can. And
Okay.
for the benefit of council, could you please introduce yourself?
Yes, my name is Ronnie Lopez. I'd like
Oh, great.
to say hello to the councilmen, woman, Madam President, and Mayor Jonas.
Great. Well,
Kevin,
Ms.
Kevin, excuse me. Can she speak up a little bit closer?
Sure.
Or lean a little closer to the microphone? She's very, very weak on my end. I can't turn it up anymore.
Okay.
Okay, can you hear me better now?
Slightly.
Okay.
Okay, let me see if I can get any closer.
Maybe turn your volume up.
Yeah. Let me see.
Well,
Is it
while
better
you're
now?
Thank you.
Ms. Lopez,
Yes, is it better now?
yeah,
Yes,
it's better.
thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Good
welcome.
evening. Good evening. My name is Kevin Hayes. I serve as a solicitor for Clarkson Borough Council. As you can see on the screen, we have 3 members of council and our borough manager. In addition, there are 3 other members of council who are participating by telephone, along with our mayor, Herman Johnson.
Okay.
We'd like to begin by thanking you for applying for this position. We're really overwhelmed with the enthusiasm that we have seen in people interested in serving on council, and we really appreciate you doing that.
The
We have
opportunity.
we have about 10 minutes allocated for each interview, and so far that's worked out just fine. So I'm going to ask you a few questions myself, and then members of council may have questions for you as well. The first question I have to ask you, Ms. Lopez, is why do you want to serve on Clark Summit Borough?
Thank you, Kevin. I'm interested in serving because I've gotten to the point with, the way the world is currently going that I no longer want to sit on the sidelines and have opinions and ideas. I really want to get involved with my community and actually start initiating those ideas and work together collaboratively with other people to make those improvements.
Great. Can I call you Ronnie? Okay. Oh, you're frozen, I think. I'll wait till it comes back. Can you hear me, Ms. Lopez? There you are. Can you hear me, Ms. Lopez?
Yes, I can.
Okay, great. All right. The next question I have for you is, what leadership skills or experience do you have that would be valuable to our council and would assist you in fulfilling your duties as a member of council?
So the leadership skills that I have that I believe would be valuable and assist in doing so is I ran the department of monthly law firm. So essentially what I would do is I would assess the validity of a case and determine if it had any legal merit to pursue further and if it was something that the law firm was interested in. I was also leading the medical malpractice cases as well and seeing if it had any medical merit to pursue for negligence upon the physician. And another leadership skill that I possess is I learned how to create valuable relationships. I was in charge of taking on referral sources from nursing homes, hospitals when I worked for a medical agency. So I had to make sure I developed strong relationships with those medical facilities so they would feel comfortable so referring their patients to us out post-op care.
Great. Ms. Lopez, what do you feel or believe is the greatest challenge facing the borough at this time?
I think the greatest challenge facing them might be the disconnect that there might be between the millennials generation. I feel last time millennials really involved in politics and truly felt connected in the 2008-2012 election. I hope to assist in bridging that gap.
Okay. Ms. Lopez,
I hate to ask.
yeah, we lost you on that. We lost you. There's a little interruption in your response. Do you mind repeating your response to that question? And the question was, what do you believe is the greatest challenge facing the borough?
Sure. I believe the greatest challenge at this point could be the disconnect with the millennial generation. The last time the millennials were truly, involved in politics, involved with policies that are going on and directly affecting them was around 2008 and the 2012 election. So I want to assist in bridging that gap and open a better community.
Okay. And Ms. Lopez, lastly, for me, and then I'm going to turn it over to the council members.
Sure.
What do you hope to accomplish in your 1.5-year term on council?
My goal would be to reiterate bridging the gap with millennials as well as adding diversity and bridging the gap with the community.
Great, thank you.
So have a more collaborative relationship.
Okay, great. I'll turn it over to any members of council that may have questions for you.
Sure, thank you.
Thank you.
Kevin, this is Vince. Hi, Ms. Lopez. Thanks for your application. My question is, what do you see as the most important fiscal concern that you would like to address, whether it be a shortfall of revenue or an expenditure exceeding revenue, one way or the other? What is the biggest fiscal issue you see the Borough of Clarkson facing and that you would like to address in the next 18 months if you're appointed?
In the next 18 months, what I would like to address, I won't necessarily it's an issue, but maybe something that we can always enhance. And that would be to have racial sensitivity training police officers. I think right now we are fortunate enough where we, of course, haven't had any incidents within our city, but I always say it's better to be proactive than have to be on the defense. So we always like to be more preventative than anything else, and I think it could be really rewarding for everyone, for the police officers, but for obviously the citizens of this city.
Are there any other members of council that would like
Yes,
to ask
Kevin.
questions? Go ahead.
Kevin, I'd like to ask a question. Ms. Lopez, what is your best contribution for council should you be appointed to this position?
I would say my best contribution is my passion for it. I will never tend to be the smartest person in the room, but I know I have a lot of passion to learn and absorb as much as I can from those that are around me and have more experience.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Councilman Jenkins.
Is there any other members of council that like to ask Ms. Lopez questions before we excuse her? Hearing none, Ms. Lopez, again, we want to thank you for your interest in applying for this position. You are welcome to watch the remaining of council's proceedings on YouTube, and later on at 7 o'clock it'll be on the cable access channel. But again, thank you so much for your interest. We appreciate it.
Thank you to all the council members, Madam President, and Mayor Johnson. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Next, members of council, we have Wanda Brown, and I'm going to try to admit her again now. There she is. Ms. Brown, or Ms. Brown? Oh, she's connecting to audio. And we'll just go with the audio. Ms. Brown? Okay. All right, we'll give her another minute. Let's see here.
Do you want to share?
Okay.
Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Oh,
Hi.
great. Hello. Good evening.
Hi.
My name is Kevin Hayes. I serve as a solicitor for our Borough Council, and we want to begin by thanking you for expressing your interest in serving on council. You can see on your screen 3 members of council, along with our borough manager, Virginia Kehoe. I can tell you also participating telephonically is 3 other members of our council and our mayor, Herman Johnson. I'm going to ask you a few questions. Please keep in mind that we only have 10 minutes allocated for each of the applicants. And there's going to be some questions maybe from members of council as well. But let me begin by asking you, why do you want to serve on Clark Summit Borough Council?
Well, I've lived in Clark Summit for 66 years. I'm a big part of the community. I went to Abington. My kids went to Abington. Now my grandchildren. My dad worked in the post office. My great uncle was mayor in the late 50s. So I just feel at this time in my life, when I'm ready to retire from work, I need something to do, and I couldn't think of anything better than to be huge part of my community and help it thrive.
Great. Ms. Brown, what leadership skills or experience do you have that would be valuable to our council and would assist you in fulfilling your duties as a member of our council?
Well, my background is in nursing. I've been a nurse for 47 years. I've worked in all aspects of nursing. I've been administrator for personal care home. I've been resident care director. So I've had a lot of leadership roles throughout my life. And as far as the history of Clark Summit and what I can contribute to continue the history of Clark Summit, I think that I would be qualified.
Great. Ms. Brown, what do you believe is the greatest challenge facing the borough at this time?
I don't know right now, just due to the COVID, is to get us back up and running.
Right.
Everybody's doing their best to keep, as a matter of fact, we just ordered from State Street to have dinner after this meeting. So, but basically, I think we are a nice community. I think it's well run. The mayor is doing a great job. Virginia, she does a great job. I know I've had
Thank you.
some issues at times and have called her and things have been resolved. So I think as far as leadership right now, everything seems to be running smoothly.
Okay. Ms. Brown, what do you hope to accomplish in your 1.5-year term on council?
Just to join in and you know, help the community in whatever way I can. I'm active in my church, which is Our Lady of Snows. I've done missionary trips to Jamaica and worked in clinics over there. So, you know, whatever I can do to help the community become better and safer, I'm on board with that.
Great, thank you so much. I have no other additional questions for you this time, but I think some of the members of our council may.
Okay.
Hi, Kevin, it's Vince. Ms. Brown, thank you. My question to you is, what do you believe is the greatest fiscal or financial issue facing the borough that you would like to work on addressing in the next 18 months while you're on council, whether it be revenue side or the expenditure side?
Well, taxes are always an issue. So, you know, whatever we can do to protect the citizens in our borough and make things better for them, more affordable, whatever we can do to make things better.
Great. Councilman Jenkins, do you have a question?
I'm good, Kevin.
Okay. Anyone else?
No.
All right. Listen, Ms. Brown, we really do appreciate you expressing your interest in applying for the vacancy on council. You're free to watch the rest of tonight's proceedings, but we're going to move on to our next applicant at this time. Again, thank you very much.
And thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
So,
Right.
Bye.
Bye.
Now, at this time, members of council, we will interview Diane Alberigi. Let me I'm not seeing her yet. Okay, here she is.
I still see, oh no.
Hello, Diane. her audio's. Hello, Ms. Alberigi, can you hear us?
Yes, I can.
Oh, great, and we can hear you. Good evening. My name is Kevin Hayes. I'm the solicitor for the Borough Council, and we would like to begin by thanking you for applying for the position of council member due to the vacancy left by Councilman Williams. We have 10 minutes allocated for your interview. As you can see, there are 3 members of council who are participating by Zoom, and there's 3 on the telephone, along with our borough manager, Virginia Kehoe, and our mayor, Herman Johnson. All this is being aired now on YouTube. I want to begin by asking you, Mrs. Alberigi, is it Ms. or Mrs. Alberigi?
Oh, you can call me Diane.
All right, Diane, that's easier. Why do you want to serve on Clark Summit Borough Council?
Well, I've lived up here since 1984, and I worked on the Our Lady of Snows Church Bazaar for 10 years. And now that I'm of retirement age, I need to try to figure out how I'm going to fill my time with some meaningful work. And I think getting involved in the borough is a perfect place to start.
Okay. And Diane, what leadership skills or experience do you have that would be valuable to our council and would assist you in fulfilling your duties as a member of council?
Well, I chair a number of volunteer events where I'm responsible for a large number of staff, such as La Festa, the Ladies of Unico. I also work at the Northeast Pennsylvania Center for Independent Living. I'm payroll director and I supervise 10 staff, and we do payroll. We're putting out like 25,000 checks a month. So I have a lot of supervisory experience.
Great. Diane, what do you believe is the greatest challenge facing the borough at this time?
I don't know. I don't know how to answer that.
It's okay. How about this? What do you hope to accomplish in your 1.5 year term on council?
Well, I'm going to say that once I get elected, should I get chosen for the position, after I attend a couple meetings, I'm sure that I will be able to come up with some ideas of changes, things to help out. Right now, I really don't know the challenges that are facing council right now.
Okay. Well, Diane, that's all the questions that I have for you, but I know that there's some members on council who may have questions as well.
Okay,
And I'm going to turn it over to them at this time.
sure.
Councilman Cusciani?
Hi, Diane. Thank you for applying for council. My question to all the applicants is just, what do you think the biggest or the most pressing fiscal issue is, whether it be on the revenue side or the expenditure side on council, that you'd like to address over the next 1.5 years?
I wish I could answer that, but I'm not going to try to lie and act like I know what's going on, because I don't. So that's something that I would trust that after I attended a couple meetings that I'd be more prepared to answer.
Thank you. I appreciate your candor.
Any other members of council wish to ask Ms. Diane questions? Okay. Hearing none, Diane, again, we want to thank you for your interest in applying for this position. Feel free to continue to monitor tonight's proceedings, but at this time, we're going to move on to our next applicant. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Have a good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Okay. Our next applicant is Michelle Cadden. Hello, Michelle.
Hi, how are you?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
I can.
Okay. My name is Kevin Hayes. I'm the solicitor for Clark Summit Borough Council. We want to begin by thanking you for applying for the position of council member. have really been overwhelmed by the number of qualified candidates who have expressed an interest in serving the borough. As you can see, there are several members of council on the screen. In addition, there are 3 members of council participating by way of telephone, along with our borough manager and borough mayor. I'm going to ask you a few questions. We've allocated 10 minutes for each applicant, which has actually turned out to be sufficient time thus far. And then members of council may have some follow-up questions for you as well.
Okay.
Can I call you Michelle?
Yeah.
Okay, Michelle, why is it that you want to serve on Clarkson Borough Council?
I mean, multiple reasons. I grew up in Scranton, and I lived in multiple different states and multiple different areas, and I chose this area to raise my children in. And I really am invested in the community for a number of reasons.
Great. What leadership skills or experience do you have that would be valuable to our council and would assist you in fulfilling your duties as a member of council?
Well, firstly, I am a small business owner in downtown Scranton. So aside from my leadership skills within my own personal business, I've also participated in numerous events in organizing community events. And I really have tried to be an active member of the community.
Great, thank you. Michelle, what do you believe is the greatest challenge that is facing our borough at this time?
Undoubtedly, the continuation of economic development in this time. Obviously, as a small business owner, I'm going through it myself, and it's something that a lot of people are going to be going through both now and in the future. You know, for myself, I'm doing well now, but with events being canceled, I mean, I own a bakery. So with events being canceled, I'm looking towards what's going to happen in January, February, March after we lose August, September, October wedding season. So, you know, even the people that are doing well right now might not be in that same position months from now. So I think that continuing the economic growth of the area is definitely the utmost important.
Great, thank you. Lastly, for me, what do you hope to accomplish in your 1.5-year term serving on council?
I really, as someone of being a voice of my generation, number one, I'm a young, business owner. My business is still in its infancy. I am, I have a young family and we're invested in the community. And, I would really love to be a bridge between the community and the municipal government.
Great. Well, that's all I have for you, Michelle. At this time, I'll turn it over to any members of council or the mayor who may have questions for you.
Okay. Thank you.
Councilman
Kevin,
Christiani?
I told them to go downstairs.
Hey,
no promises.
Happens to all of us.
Too cute.
Thanks for your application, Michelle, and for your work as a small business owner. You somewhat touched on my question regarding finances, but I'll ask it again because I'm asking every candidate. What do you view as the biggest fiscal issue for the borough you'd like to address over the next 1.5 years, whether it be revenue issues or whether it be expenditure issues for the borough itself?
Yeah, I mean, just continuing on my answer from before, definitely the economic development and making sure that everybody is taken care of. Maybe looking into some sort of reserve account that we can utilize different funds from to just make sure that everybody within the community is good.
Any other members of council have questions for Michelle? Okay, hearing none. Michelle, again, we appreciate you taking the time and to apply and expressing your interest in serving the borough. We've really been so impressed with all the qualified candidates we have. We're going to now move on to our next applicant. We were free to, watch the proceedings. The vacancy will be voted on later tonight.
Okay, thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Bye, Michelle.
Thank you very much.
Have a good night.
Okay, at this time, we are going to hear from Harry Jenkins. And I have him here. Mr. Jenkins?
Hello,
Hello, Mr. Jenkins.
how you doing?
Can I call you Harry? Because we have another Mr. Jenkins, and I don't want to confuse people.
Yeah, that's fine. Harry's good.
My name is Kevin Hayes. I'm the solicitor for the Borough of Clark Summit. We want to begin by thanking you for expressing your interest in applying for the vacancy on council. All members of council have been provided with a copy of your resume and your letter of interest and have reviewed those. I'm going to ask you some questions and then turn it over to the members of council. But as you can see, there are 3 members of council on the screen, as well as our borough manager. The remaining members of council are participating by way of telephone, along with our mayor, Herman Johnson. After we conduct our interviews tonight, the issue of the vacancy will be taken up as part of our as an agenda item in tonight's meeting. Okay.
Okay.
Harry, let me begin by asking you, why do you want to serve on Clark Summit Borough Council?
Well, as you know, I'm on the ARWA board, and I'd like to expand my services in the community. I am retired. I do have time, and I'd like to get more involved. I've been on ARWA for 4 years, and I'm currently the vice chair, and I've worked on a couple of committees there. And as I said, I'm retired. I've lived in Clark Summit for the last, since 2004. And I would like to get involved more in the community. I think I have skills that can go beyond just work, and I can relate it to the community.
And following up on the skills that you have, my question is, what specific leadership skills or experience do you have that would be valuable to our council, and that would assist you in fulfilling your duties as a member of council?
Well, if you've read my resume, you see I have a little under 40 years in management, and it's been progressive management. So, and then I had the opportunity to work in project management, which really drives everything. That led me to senior management. So the skills that I come with, besides the actual leadership that I've had experience in, I ran a facility down in Florida, was a director of operations out in New Jersey, and I was a director of INC here in Archville. I think the big thing I could bring from myself is I'm a good communicator, I'm a good listener, I enjoy doing work, I'm a get the job done kind of guy, I'm a finisher, I'm a problem solver. You know, I know a lot of these are all buzzwords, but these are things that, you know, I do or I've done. I've also got experience, a lot of experience in budgeting, scheduling, strategic planning, adjustments of the budget, that kind of stuff.
Great. Harry, what do you believe is the greatest challenge that is facing the borough at this time?
Well, I come in with no conceived ideas that there's any issues because I haven't seen anything since I've been here. But I gotta believe the pandemic is going to have economic impact to the citizens of Clark Summit. And that in turn is going to impact your revenue, which is going to in turn impact your budget. So you got to start projecting what impact that revenue might be, and then try to adjust your budgets accordingly. And those are kind of things that I've done all my career, especially in project management.
Great. Lastly, from me, Harry, what is it you hope to accomplish during your 1.5-year term on council?
Well, since I've really only worked ARWA and I haven't been in the public service that much, I want to understand how the council operates and how the community interfaces with that. And then I want to see where I can fit and help or support. So, you know, I don't know what else would make sense other than when I can learn the workings, maybe I can be a better contributor.
Great. At this time, Harry, I'm going to turn it over to the members of council and the mayor to see if they have any questions for you.
Kevin, this is Vince. Harry, thank you for your application. You directly answered the question I was going to fiscal issue with the borough, so thank you.
Oh, okay, thanks.
Kevin, I just have one question for Harry. Harry, thanks again for submitting your application. What do you think your best contribution would be towards council should you be appointed?
Well, obviously I can come with some knowledge of the sewer and interrelate that kind of activity. You yourself did that, Dave. So I can bring scheduling, budgeting. I do have skills that I really haven't brought out in this meeting yet that may be a contributor to it. So I think the best thing is if I'm selected, I'm used to over my career learning that you don't get something done unless there's some negotiation involved or some compromise involved. And I've worked that for years. And I think that skill may help on the council. I won't know until it actually happens. So.
Okay, thank you, Harry.
Okay, thanks, Dave.
Any other members of council or the mayor have any questions for Harry Jenkins? Okay, hearing none. Harry, again, we thank you for your time and interest. Feel free to continue to watch tonight's proceedings. And as I indicated, this issue will be taken up as part of our new matter on tonight's meeting agenda.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Bye, Harry.
Goodbye.
Thank you.
Okay, and we have come to, do I still have everybody with us?
I think you still have me too.
Yeah.
You're removed, Harry. All right. So now we have, and everybody can still hear us, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we've done very well on time. We're on number 8 already. So let me get our last applicant to be interviewed. Needs no introduction. It's Bob Bennett. Hello, Bob. Let me unmute him.
Hi, Kevin.
Hello, Bob. You're the only applicant that I didn't have to introduce myself to tonight. But let me begin by thanking you for your continued interest in serving the borough as you have in the past, and submitting your application submitting your interest one more time to serve the borough. Let me tell you how this is going to take, how it's going to proceed. I'm going to ask you some questions, and then I'm going to turn it over to the other members of council who may have questions for you as well. This issue of filling the vacancy will be taken up in tonight's meeting under new matter. Can you hear me okay?
We're ready to go.
Okay, I just want to let you know that also, you may not see them, but the remaining members of council are on the phone, as well as our Mayor Herman Johnson.
Thank you.
Okay, so Mr. Bennett, why do you want to serve on Clark Summit Council again?
Well, I think I have a track record of proving that I'm interested in being on the council. I've spent 49 years in this municipality, and I believe in the town. I think it's a great little town, and I think I'm in a unique position to help the town moving forward.
Great, thank you. Bob, what leadership skills or experience do you have that would be valuable to our council and would assist you in fulfilling your duties as a member of council?
Well, leadership skills, I have been with Metropolitan for many years, and I sat in on many discussions on how management should move forward, but more specifically directed towards council. I have 10 years experience on council. I'm familiar with council, its procedures, and all the committees that exist. And I've had an opportunity to help generate income for the council by coming up with a new insurance plan for the health. I believe we get a check, maybe $25,000 or $30,000 a year back from the insurance company. I've also been able to find several streets that were not on our liquid fuel bill, which will increase the amount of money we get from liquid fuels.
Bob, what do you believe is the greatest challenge that our borough is facing at this time?
Well, obviously, I think it's going to be financial. We're going to have a short income coming in probably several categories. One category that I haven't heard mentioned other than COVID-19 is I'm sure the MMO is going to need to be a line item that's going to need a lot of attention.
Right. Lastly, for me, Bob, what do you hope to accomplish in a 1.5-year term on council?
Well, my council activities so far in the past, I've been able to work with all the council members there, and I think that's an asset. I'm going to bring some experience where I have a certificate in arbitration, along with mediation and conflict resolution from the University of Marywood, a couple hundred hours to get that. So I know how to work with people and continue to move forward to accomplish goals.
Great.
Thank you.
Thank you. Well, Bob, that's all for the questions I have at this time. Some members of council may have questions for you as well. I know that we'll start with Councilman Cruciani.
Sure. Thanks, Kevin. Hey, Bob.
Good evening, Vince.
Good evening. You answered my question, but I'll ask it anyways in case you want to elaborate more. What fiscal issues do you want to tackle in the next 1.5 years, whether it be expenditures or revenue? I know you mentioned the COVID impact and the MMO. I didn't know if there was anything else.
Well, if I get on council, one of the committees I would like to be on would be the finance committee with you. I know you have done some outstanding work on it in the past. It's hard to tell because we are not sure of the degree of impact that we're going to have present. But another thing to consider is, can we generate income from another matter which currently we may not be aware of? How to get maybe aid from either the county, the state, or the government. And I realize all the municipalities are going to be trying it, but I would hate to be derelict and not try.
Thank you.
Any other members of council have a question for Mr. Bennett?
Yes, Kevin, I'll ask Bob. Hi, Bob, it's Dave.
Yes, Dave.
Bob, what is your best contribution for council should you be appointed to this position?
I think my past record kind of speaks for itself in that I've been able to work with many of the different council people, including yourself, on various committees, and my ability to think outside the box by finding new insurance and additional means of income revenue.
Thanks, Bob.
Thank you, Dave.
Anyone else? Okay, Bob. Well, again, thanks for putting yourself out there and expressing interest in serving the borough. Again, we appreciate it.
Kevin, thank you for your time.
No problem. And you're welcome to watch tonight's proceedings on YouTube or on the cable access channel. But for now, I'm gonna put you out of this. Okay. Is everybody still there?
Yes.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, we did much better with time than I ever anticipated.
Wow.
So let me just
Kevin.
let me just go over tonight's proceeding as far as the appointment goes. When the matter reaches, we reach this matter on a new matter. Council President will allow members of council to offer their comments on the various applicants and the strengths and weaknesses, or whatever, that any comments they wish to offer regarding the applicants. And when that discussion's over, then the council president will indicate that she is now entertaining nominations for the position of council. Any member of council is free to nominate any one of the applicants for the position. After the nominations are all submit it, then I will do a roll call vote in the order that they were nominated. Does anyone have any questions about that proceeding?
So there's no second, there's only a series of nominations, and then the nominations close, and then there's a vote?
That's correct. So there's under Robert's rules, no second is needed for nominations.
Just so I understand exactly, essentially there could be 6 nominations this evening. If all council members have the ability to nominate a single person, and that being a different person than someone else.
That's correct. And what we'll have to do is then obviously every one of those nominations would fail because we'll need 4 votes. We'll then have to open the debate discussion again and come to a resolution.
Kevin, look, can I ask? So 6 people give nominations. Then we close the nominations and we go through the first name first and we vote.
So
No?
yeah, the nominations will be submitted, then the nominations will close, and then we'll do a roll call of each nomination in the order that they were nominated.
So 6 people could be nominated, but once we go through the first name, it's possible that all 6 could support the first name.
Obviously, council member is free to vote for multiple nominations.
Oh, so all, if one nomination in the order receives 4 votes, does then the voting stop, or do all nominations?
Yep, the nomination process is over. So once we have a nomination that has 4 votes, the nomination process is over, and that individual is then effectively appointed as a council member.
That's correct.
Kevin, could I ask a question to Terry? I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Oh, I'm just saying, I know, as you're saying, the magic number is 4. What if none of the nominees attain 4 votes? Is there and let's say some get none, is there an elimination of candidates, or someone has to get 4, or is 3 considered after the process is run? Is 3 considered a win? I don't know.
So
I was wondering that.
If there's a nominee who is 3 votes in favor and 3 votes against that nominee, the mayor can serve as a tiebreaker.
Right.
And that's the mayor's discretion whether he wishes to serve as a tiebreaker or he can table it, and then there could be a special meeting. But I have to caution everyone: we lose jurisdiction of this appointment.
It goes to the county court if we can't make the decision.
Well, the vacancy board first.
Come June 5, we lose jurisdiction. We could lose jurisdiction, and then it'll be determined by someone other than the 7 members or the 6 members of this council.
Procedurally, should that be the case, Kevin, and no one obtain 4, let's assume applicant A gets 3 votes yay, 3 votes nay. At that point, does the mayor tiebreak, or do we go to the next applicant to see if that one gets 4?
That's a good question.
Will we reserve the tiebreaker until after we've gone through the exhausted list of applicants?
No, it's on each one. So if we're at 3-3, the mayor at his discretion can tiebreak at that point in time. The mayor to his discretion could say he wishes to not tiebreak, and he can table it, and then we can have a special meeting where there'll be a special meeting comprised of 1 elector who will serve as the chair, and the members of council, and then we'll take it up. But again, I have to caution everybody: this all has to take place before the end of the week.
We can't table the vote until after all the applicants for the tiebreak?
Well, effectively, if it's at 3-3 and the mayor wishes not to, the mayor can vote yay, nay, or he can table it. And I'll read the directive that we received from it's been published by the Association of Boroughs. It says, give me a second here.
If the mayor tables it, could it be brought back up for a second vote in the evening after all the applicants is what I'm asking.
If the mayor tables it, well, here's what.
Yeah, like
here's a directive that's been issued by the director of research at the Pennsylvania Association of Boroughs. If there's a tie vote or a split vote, then the mayor at his option may cast his vote or can request that it be tabled, and a special meeting must be held not less than 5 or more than 10 days, at which time council can reconsider the vote. And if the tie still exists, then the mayor can break the tie.
Right, but what I'm asking is if applicant A is 3-3 and the mayor tables it and we get through the 6 applicants, can we re-bring up the vote for the tie break at that point? Assuming all council members will vote again the same way. This evening.
This evening? I don't know what purpose that would be, because it essentially
Face 2 candidates tie.
Oh, 2 candidates. Well, I think, yeah, we could do that. If we 2 candidates tie, it's at the discretion at that point of the chair, whether to after debate come up with a proposal to allow for another nomination process tonight. But that's really the discretion of the chair. And that's it for any other questions on the nomination process?
Kevin, in the order of expediency, would we be better to start our meeting early, or do you want to take a 10-minute recess?
Yeah, everybody's. Yeah, it's up to. I think we have to start at 7 because that's when we advertise it to start.
Right.
And
Jerry.
In the interim, I could help. We can figure out any technical glitches that anybody's having, and everybody can.
Okay.
I'll go off now.
Jerry, before you go, Kevin, Jerry, a question for you. Do you have a flag, or do you want me to get one?
I have a flag here.
Okay.
Dave, you better get one just in case.
All right, I'll get one just in case. I have one standing by.
We don't have Jerry's face on the TV, so you need yours.
Okay. All right, I'll
Oh,
get.
you will. You will. While I was on the phone, I got hooked up on Zoom, so
Okay.
I'm ready to go. I'm on Zoom now, but I didn't zoom in because I didn't want to interrupt the interview.
I'll get one just in case.
All right.
I have one though. That we're okay.
Okay. At this time, I guess we
now,
will.
Do you want me to come on Zoom now?
Well, this is what we'll do with this. You can come on. We're going to recess our special meeting, our special interview process. We'll begin the special council meeting, or not the special council meeting, our public meeting at 7 o'clock tonight, and that will be aired on the cable access channel as well as YouTube. Okay.
Do you need a motion to officially recess it now? If you
It was just interviews. It wasn't a formal meeting.
It wasn't a meeting.
Okay.
Okay.
I don't think so.
All right.
Have to call back in, or can we remain on?
What I'll do is I'll mute
Keep your line
everyone.
open. Yeah.
I'm going to mute everyone, and we're going to go off YouTube. Okay.
Okay.